Hi, welcome to another video. So, Aider has some great new upgrades, and I wanted to talk about them. Let's get right into it and check them out. Since the last video I did, there has been one major new upgrade, and this upgrade is really cool. This upgrade has added some new commands that allow you to load and save Aider/commands to files. Let's talk about this in depth, as it will require a slightly complex explanation. Generally, when you use Aider, you can add a specific file to the chat context by using the add command. Not only that, but you also have a bunch of other /commands you can use, like the web command or much more. Now that's good, but even if you don't use these commands, Aider will use these tools on its own whenever it sees fit. For example, you can ask it to edit your to-do app and add a delete option. In that case, it will check the files and add the file to the context automatically based on the name that it sees fit, and then edit it. Or, if the project doesn't have any files, it will create one from scratch. This is great. You can just go back and forth, asking it to do anything. But what if you close Aider, come back the next day, and see that all the file context is gone from your Aider chat? Well, technically, it has the context of your previous chats from the markdown file it keeps, which holds all your chat history, which is great. But it still doesn't automatically add the latest file context from the previous session. It should add the new file context if you ask it to edit something, and then it will go through the process again. But that's not very ideal. So, now Aider gives you a new /command called save. Save basically allows you to input a file name. Then, what Aider will do is save all the file names in the format of /commands, like what you do manually to add each file to context. Anyway, once that file is saved, you can just use the next new command, called load, to load all these files next time to rebuild the context of files in Aider, and then you can start working. Basically, you can now save the commands to a file to rebuild the context of your previous chat, and then reload it when you start a new chat if you want. But it's not limited to that either. If you use the save command, it only saves the read commands to the file, but you can add more /commands besides the read command manually to the file, then load it, and it will execute those commands as well. You can think of this like a shell or batch file that you can create to your liking, run in Aider, and execute your Aider commands. It's really cool for sure. We'll try it out as well, but let's look at the other features. There's also a new load flag that allows you to load the files and run the commands in the file while starting up, instead of using the /load command after Aider has started. So, that's good. You can also enter the load command in the config file if you want to run a bunch of commands every time without specifying the load flag. So, that's also cool. There's also a new opt-in analytics option. This is something new that allows Aider to collect anonymous analytics to help improve Aider's ability to work with LLMs, edit code, and complete user requests. It's basically an option that allows you to send information about exceptions and errors if you opt in, and it will be used to improve Aider. The information sent will be anonymized, which is also good for privacy. You can opt out of it permanently by running this command once, which is good. Otherwise, it will ask you to enable analytics when you run it. So, there's that. I'm not a fan of this because I don't like telemetry in open source projects, so I'll be disabling it, but you can choose whatever you want. Apart from this, Aider now also follows the support vision option from LiteLLM. This means that if you use any non-mainstream model that supports vision, it can now work with it. This is pretty good, because LiteLLM keeps updating the model's metadata much better and faster than Aider's metadata. So that's cool. There's also a new bug fix, and it now displays file names in sorted order when using add and read only. It also has a no fancy input switch that disables prompt toolkit input. Basically, it won't give you autocomplete suggestions and things with this option. You can now also override the GUI config with the no browser and no GUI flags. If you don't know, Aider also has a GUI that you can use. It's basically a Streamlit interface, nothing fancy. This option now allows you to run Aider in non-browser mode if, for some reason, you have the browser mode set as default. So, this is also good. It also now offers to open documentation URLs when errors occur. So, you can reference Aider's documentation for errors and fix them, which is fine. It also now properly supports all O1 models, regardless of provider. It also has an improved layout of file names above the input prompt, and there are some more features, which are all great. Now, let me show you all of these new upgrades one by one. First, make sure you upgrade Aider with this command. Once it has been upgraded, you can start using the new upgrades. Let's start with the main new commands. So, let's start Aider like this. Now, let me create some things, like a simple to-do app. You'll see that the files are now created and everything. Now, as you can see, it created these files. So, now what you can do is use the new save command and give it a file name. Let me just give it this. And once we do that, the file will be created. Now, if we view it, you can see that it has made this file and has added these commands to it. Looks pretty good, for sure. Now, if I start Aider again, you can see that it doesn't have the context of those files now. So, you can now just load the file you just saved with the load command, and once you do that, you can see that the slash commands will execute based on what's written in the file, which is amazing. Apart from this, you can change the file to have custom inline slash commands as well. For example, I can add a web command here and give it this URL. Now, when I start it and load it, you'll see that it now runs that command and does what it needs to do, which is pretty amazing for sure. You can also load it on startup if you add this flag with the file name like this. So, this is also good. Apart from this, you also have another no fancy input flag that disables fancy input. So, if I run it with this, you can see that if I type something here, you don't get any auto-completion like before, which is good if you like to use it on a server or something. You also have the no browser option if you use browser mode as default in your Aider for some reason. By the way, I haven't used the browser option yet. So, let's fire it up and see it as well. Okay, this looks pretty good. You have the Add Files option, where you can add files here, and you can also add a web page here, and you can chat here. It seems that you cannot use the slash commands here though, which is a little hassle for sure. So, this is also good if you want to use Aider from your mobile by network, sharing it or something like that. It's pretty cool. These are the major new features. The script or batch file for it is really super cool. It's just amazing and keeps getting better. Overall, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating to my channel through the Super Thanks option below, or you can also consider becoming a member by clicking the Join button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye.